also just like another footnote, I also really love like the happy hours and the hangs and stuff like that. I think what I mean is more so like there's people that can do it every night.
Yeah.
And I cannot. Like, I think like, you know, like a rap party's great. I love the idea of like, you know, like when we finished like office hours, we all went out, got drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just stuff like that is just really fun. And I think it's definitely the difference of like, I just like hanging and talking to people about the things we do because I'm just so interested and invested in the stuff we make. But the second starts to like be like, oh, the drink is not an accessory, but like the instigator.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like the drug, whatever, you know, like I think it's just, and I'm that's not me being a noob. It's just me being like, no, I don't know. I just like talking about art and going home and like putting on like Parks and Rec and crashing on my couch. Like that's
For
life,
sure.
you know?
Yeah.
But that being said, man, I can only imagine, like I said before, like the comedy world, even comparison to the film world.
Well, you're in the comedy world a little bit. When did you start doing improv?
Improv, I started. Wow, when did I start improv? So there's like a few different moments. I'm not sure where they line up on the timeline. But I actually did a 2-person improv with an old childhood friend of mine named John Franklin. Okay. Some of you may know him. He's a stand-up comedian. He was on The Circle, that Netflix show. And he definitely does a lot of sets around the city and stuff. But like I grew up with him. We went to like a music camp together. And I remember maybe like 10 years ago now, like we reunited and we were like, oh, we're both trying to do comedy. Like we should really like just do reps and do improv together. So I'd go over to his house and like we would just like do 2-prov. And that was great because like that was like some of the earlier times of me doing it. So I felt like I was able to like fail in front of a trusting friend instead of an audience before I like really jumped into like a live setting.
Yeah.
And then
so wait, you did this, you started just playing with each other or you took a class?
We just started playing with each other.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. Like it just was like something where like, oh, we both want to be better at this thing. And it's like, even if we do it and we're like, it's not for us, like at least we can say we tried it together. And it was great because like I remember like speaking for myself, like I was not good at all. And I think I started realizing like, oh, I'm just not I got to be a better listener. Like that's, I mean, that's like 101, but like it really takes you doing it to be like, oh, like you don't have to be funny. You have to be cognizant.
Yeah. It's almost not 101. That's like kind of the hilarious thing about it.
You think
listening
so?
is like the most important thing, but I feel like it's not stressed because teachers are oftentimes trying to stress like the rules of improv because like they're trying to break your brain into that idea of it. So that's why I'm also fascinated by the fact that you started improv without a class and we're kind of just like, well, let's just do it. Like,
yeah. So
like you didn't go into it thinking like, oh, we're trying to say yes and we're trying to like do like find a funny thing. Like you're just like, let's just act. Like how did you guys structure that?
Yeah, so that was really I think a big caveat that I'm not explaining, and actually this might fill in like how I got into wanting to do film and TV as well, is my background is way more in sketch than improv. So like
so you guys started writing.
Not me and him specifically. So just to fill it in, like
fill it all in.
Let's do it. Put 20 seconds on the clock.
This is the foremost Steven Zang interview.
Let's do it. No, this is the one and only. I'm never doing this again. I'm totally kidding. No, but
you'll be back for the next film.
Oh yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back. Anything for Jordan. In the 6th grade, I remember getting my first flip phone. And I used to ride my bike every day after school with the same group of friends. And when I got the flip phone, I found out there was a camera on there that could record video. We would like go to like public parks and just make like the silly 6th grade comedy on the phones. And similar to what you were saying before, I remember finding like, I just was so curious. I looked up like editing software that like I could like cut our flip camera footage together. And it's not good. I don't even know where any of that stuff is. But like the idea that like that early on, like I remember being so psyched to like just kind of like be in the moment and like tell my friend to like, hey, like hang upside down on that monkey bar and then I'm gonna come over and kick you. Like it, which is stupid, but like it was just like kind of like, oh, like we could do anything, you know? So that kind of started it for me being like, oh, this is fun. I would love to do more of this. And then I also grew up loving like sketch comedy, like SNL, like Second City, all that stuff. Sitcoms too, big sitcom. I remember like watching like Seinfeld with my mom when I was like 7, which I probably shouldn't have, but like that was like our nightly routine. So just like having that kind of language built into my head already. Going into high school, I kind of knew pretty early on that like that's what I wanted to do, was like film, or like even like late night TV was like a big one for me. Anyway, I say all this because catching up to where I am with John, when I kind of rekindled that friendship with him after the music camp thing, whatever, he was starting to do stand-up, and we were talking actually about doing sketch together. But we were like, oh, maybe like a fun warm-up for us would be like, I always really wanted to try improv. I never had anyone to do it with, and I didn't feel comfortable just like signing up for a class at that point.
Yeah.
So that's how that kind of originated, of like, let's just like look up what different games are we can play, you know, kind of see like what our like sensibilities are. And it actually worked out great, because there was a good 2 or 3 years after the improv. We decided after doing it for a little bit that we're like, we're not good at improv, we should stop. But we both still really loved writing sketch. And we actually made a bunch of like videos together, like sketch videos that we'd make up on the spot, kind of like following that 6th grade mentality of like, let's just get in a room and like write a beat sheet and like just make something.
Yeah.
And I remember during the pandemic, we not only wrote a bunch of sketches, but we actually wrote a TV pilot together. It's called Zanglin.
Zanglin?
Zanglin, yeah. I'm really proud of that one.
It's a sketch show, or it's has a concept to it?
So it's half sketch, half sitcom.
It's getting hot in
it's
here.
A little toasty with all this sitcom talk.
Yeah.
There we go.
3D.
Whoa. Yeah, dude. I'm pretty proud of that script. We had a table read of it during the pandemic virtually.
Huh.
And it was honestly like something that I was like, oh, like this is something I would watch. I mean, more unsolicited advice, like just make something that you like, and then you just trust that people will like it too. And that was definitely what we did, where it was like I think the plot line for the pilot was like, I find out I have a son and he's like 75 years old, and it makes no sense. It made no sense, but like we believed it to our core, and it's the funny, like even
that is so funny.
Thank you, dude. I still stand by that. We wrote a whole season arc too, like my son dies, and it's like we built
it's a sitcom.
It's a sitcom, but like the interstitials in between the beats were sketches that had very loose threads to what was happening in the. Yeah, I'm happy to send it to you if you ever want to read it.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. I definitely feel that, like, I feel like I've gotten more bored with myself over the years. Like, when I was young, I feel like I would just write stuff and I would be like, this is gold. Like, everything I write is gold. Like, I'm just getting, like, everything.
Left and right,
like,
just killing it.
And I feel like I was writing stuff that I was so interested in. Now I feel like I'm on the other side of, like, life where you're just like, oh, I've watched so much stuff already.
Yeah.
So now, like, finding stuff that like titillates me and like engages me and provokes me it's harder to find, because like you don't want to make stuff that's not original.
For sure.
So it's like when you're young, I feel like everything feels original because you haven't watched everything that exists. Now I'm like 12 years, 14 years into this journey, and it's like, oh, I have this great idea. Oh, that's that show. Oh, I have this great idea. It's that show. Like,
yep.
I wrote a pilot and like 6 episodes for a TV show idea that was about like a small town umpire.
Oh, nice.
And basically in the first episode, the star player in the Little League goes missing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I wrote this at the end of high school, beginning of college. And people were like, oh, have you seen Search Party? This is very much like Search Party.
Oh, really?
And it's like, even now I'm watching DTF St. Louis, and it's like, oh, they have some woman playing an umpire. Like, I'm damn it. But
I think they took it from you. I'm gonna
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I sent that out to a few places. But I was so into this, and I would have mad readings at college of this, and like it had a 6-episode arc, and I like was so happy about it. But then it's like, once you write something and you actually get the pulse of the moment, if you don't make it immediately, then I feel like it loses the pulse of the moment. And
yeah,
jokes that you make like might feel new and fresh then, because you're like, oh, I'm in the zeitgeist. Like, I'm getting to where like people are thinking now. And then you wait 4 years and you're like, oh, this has already been in 3 different things. Like,
yeah,
people making like pronouns jokes. You're just like, oh yeah, your pronouns joke is really funny if it was like 7 years ago. like now pronoun jokes have been made so long and they've been made in 800 different ways. Oh, your pronouns are a word that's not a pronoun. Ha ha ha. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, good joke. Like, people still roll up with the same thing, and it's like, yeah, your pronoun joke would have been great if you came up with it like in
2015.
14, yeah. But now, yeah.
But not to be, this is not me being contrarian, but because I agree, it's like sometimes like the amount of times I've written something, I'm like, damn, this has been made.
Yeah.
I feel like if you look at anything that's like kind of blown up in the past few years that kind of is being claimed as like the next big thing, it's all, the common thread between all of it is that like, oh, it's this person's voice.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And honestly, like I would even make the argument, I haven't read your script and I would love for you to send it to me. But I have a feeling like it's written in your voice, and I think that's the thing that would sell it. Because like every story's been told in one way or another, right? Yeah. So it's like if it's like a direct ripoff, like you can tell, but like if it's like written from like Jordan's perspective of like if it's like Sessions with Mary Jane, but like a missing kid, like I would watch that.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of stuff in it, but like, I don't know. There was an orgy scene in it. So I feel like a lot of orgy jokes have been made since then.
That's
like,
fair.
Yeah, like the missing kids thing, like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in it, but I don't know. It's also just like something I wrote when I was like 20. So it's also,
oh dude,
like the amount that I want to like delve back into that. I also wrote this pilot and a couple of episodes for this show about a DJ. Mm-hmm. And then like I was so into this, like I thought it was great. And then one of the storylines was in a different show. Like like you think you come up with something genius and you're like, oh damn it, like
yeah,
somebody else has come up with this idea or this idea. But yeah, everything's been done before, so it's like I think you are a product of what you read, write, and listen to, and talk to people, and all of that stuff. So
for sure,
I feel like as long as you have your sauce, and like Quentin Tarantino steals every shot that he ever has done, and he steals everything that he's ever made.
Yes,
but it's like this is what this guy is into. And you're more like a reflection of your interests, and like it says a lot about you what you choose to make, you know, like if you make very sexual films, like you're probably a pervert, you know, because like why are you thinking about this all the time? Why do you want to spend 2 years on this? What, like,
yeah, writing's on the wall. To your point, if you're spending 2 to 3 years on this one project and you're like reading it back and you're like, oh, this is a lot about me. Yeah, but no, man, I totally agree, and I feel like I think that's why I was even so proud of the Zanklin thing. It's funny, I actually just talked to John about this a few days ago, or a few weeks ago rather, that we were like, maybe we should bring that back, because it was so fun, and like it felt like just like a pure representation of like when him and I are in a room together. Yeah. And I feel like if you can get that core on paper, like even for yourself, if you could like get like the pure representation of you on paper, like that's it. That's all it takes. Yeah. But yeah, man. And now it's cool because like John is actually in the next film, which is cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Thanks, man.
You're shooting that in a couple months?
Well, you're shooting right now mid-May.
Mid-May, nice.
Yeah. It's a lot shorter, so it should only be like a 1-day shoot, hopefully. But the goal is to make this one and then kind of use it as the springboard to make a bigger project in like early winter next year.
Nice.
Yeah. So that one's gonna be like a 30-page honcho that I think is gonna need a budget and support. But I'm really pumped about it, and I'm hoping that like make this one just to kind of like fulfill the 1 a year thing that I'm setting myself up to, and then really pre-pro that after the wedding.
Yeah, I think that is good. The 1 a year thing is good. You should definitely have a project a year. It's tough to keep up on, but
oh yeah,
making them shorter definitely helps you keep on that schedule, and yeah, having a good team keeps you on that schedule.
100%, dude. What are you working on now? I know you got a few things in the
not too much I could talk about right now because it's not happening that much, but yeah, I have a feature script that's hopefully being made in mid-August, so dude, we're waiting on that. If you know any investors or people, hit me up, because we are trying to get our funding across the finish line right now, so
let's go, dude.
That's kind of where I'm at right now, is I kind of have to just write something else because I don't have any control over money and film financing, and I just need to be more valuable for myself.
Oh my God, wouldn't a budget be great?
I'm hopefully, yeah, if that script works out and the film happens, I think I'm going to try to plan a tour either before or after it. So
Awesome.
that's
dude.
kind of where I'm looking right now, is just like working a lot right now to get my bread right, doing a lot of stand-up. And yeah, hopefully building a new half hour to an hour that I can tour with by the end of the year.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, that's my goal. I'm probably going to hit up our good friend Joe Kelly to route me a tour. But that's like in its infancy right now. Like,
yeah, man, as long as there's things on the stovetop.
The winter
you know?
was very unemployed, so I feel like I am coming back into like stability now that the film industry is back. And I actually started working at Maureen's Jazz Cellar in Nyack.
Let's go. Love Maureen's. It's a great spot.
One of the most wonderful places in the world. Shout out Brienne and David for running a great venue.
A tidy ship, if you will.
So I've been doing that a lot, picking a lot of hours up in the service world to just get myself back on track and be ready to do the things I need to do to further my comedy career and further my film career, because it's very expensive to be in the film and comedy industry.
100%.
I feel like the entry into the entertainment industry is very low money wise, but then once you get to like a certain point, you just keep hitting these roadblocks if you don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize like, oh, it didn't matter how good I was, because like I still need to pay for headshots. I still need to pay for all of these casting websites. I still need to pay to go to these actor showcases. I still need to go to these conferences to get on the college touring circuit. So then you realize like, oh, if you want to be a comedian that actually makes enough money to live, you kind of have to spend $25,000 before you actually can make like $100,000 in a year. Like, it's very doable to do that, but you have to spend like $25,000 to like promote yourself and do the NACA conventions and shit, like the college comedy conventions or the college like booking committee like conventions.
For sure, dude. I mean, like, even just like, to your point, the marketing could be even a bigger budget than the actual making of the thing. Like, Superimpose is like that right now. Like, I'm applying to all these film festivals and trying to get it out there and like, you know, creating like this like marketing campaign around it. It's just like, oh, like this is like, I did not budget this into anything. Like, it's a whole beast in itself.
And it sucks because it's literally like a casino too.
Yeah.
Like, you pay so much money for shit that you just waste your money on.
Yeah, it's a gamble every time.
Like, I have a couple screenplays that I'm trying to shop around right now. And I was like, oh, well, like, I don't have anybody who's buying a script right now. I better enter it into film festivals and try to get some buzz.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, of course, it gets rejected from the most expensive film festivals that I applied to. And then it's like, oh, okay, so that's like $300 that just goes down the tank. And then maybe $300 got me a finalist, a semifinalist, like honorable mention for things. And I'm like,
dude,
okay, well, that's good. But like, what do I really do with that, you know?
I don't even know if we talked about this, but we had the weekend at Garden State a few weeks ago. Sunday night, we, by the graces of whoever's up there, we won an award, which is really cool.
Yeah, what did we win?
We won Best Homegrown Short, which is Best Short Filmed with Crew in New Jersey, which is sick. It's the best short in New Jersey, I guess.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm saying it. I don't know. But
so that becomes very worth it.
Yeah. So
like, that's what you hope for, is like, you hope you pay the fee. You hope you get in so you can put the laurel on your poster and you can post about being in a festival. Yes. Then if you win an award, then you get legitimacy.
Yes, but here's the dichotomy.
Oh, okay.
So I had the awards banquet thing happen, which was amazing. Like, I remember driving home with Jenna. We were like freaking out in the car. It's like, oh, this is so cool. It's like the accumulation of like a year's worth of work in this one thing. It's just awesome. The next morning I wake up and I got a rejection from another festival. And I was like immediately humbled. But it's the nature of the beast. It's like, you're not going to get into everything. You just have to keep making the thing and keep putting it out there. But like, you know, once in a while you'll have a weekend like the Garden State Film Festival. And it's great. But like, it's not the thing that's like you're aiming for. It's just like, you just got to get exposure. And I feel like I'm grateful even more from the award, more than the award, just like all the people I met and stuff. And then like it makes those rejections that much more bearable, if not like more of like a tool for your tool belt to be like, okay, I gotta do better for the next one.
Yeah, because you never know. And it's like, once you get into the festival, I feel like anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, every festival has its own community. Otherwise, it doesn't really survive. Like any festival that's been around for 15 plus years has to have people who come back to it. Otherwise, they would just shut it down because it doesn't make enough money. And the nonprofit doesn't get enough donors. So
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, you just got to search to where the people are and where they spend money. One thing that was like big for me to realize was like, to be more realistic about my career, it's just like, if you don't know high net worth individuals, then you could never make money.
Yeah.
Like if the people you're working with don't have money, then there is no money for you. And I think that was like a big lesson too, is like, not something to be discouraged about, but it's also just like, well, don't think you're going to get money from a bunch of people who are broke artists, you know?
Yeah,
like you're
real.
not going to figure it out by doing that. It's like you have to network with people who have good ass jobs and like work in corporate America and like work in finance and shit like that. Because like those are the people who actually want to invest in films. They're like, I just look at spreadsheets all day. Like I get a $50,000 bonus like every year, you know, and it's like not that much to me, you know. So I feel like those types of people are the people you kind of got to gravitate towards, like to take that step up in the industry. And like at the film festivals, it's like, oh, talking to filmmakers is great, but talking to sponsors is really great because the sponsors have money, you know? So that's a big thing, like looking in the back of like the film festival programs and seeing all the sponsors and being like, oh, they were willing to spend $500. They have $500 that they're just willing to toss up. Like, oh, they were willing to spend $5,000. They're just willing to part with $5,000. Like anybody who sponsors anything is willing to part with money.
For real, dude.
The people who aren't willing to part with money are like people who have like 3 kids and work 4 jobs, you know?
Budgeting is by far the most necessary evil of our industry. And it's like, yes, you need to make those connections, and like it is a necessary evil. I'm also a huge believer. I mean, like some of my earliest film influences are like the Duplass brothers, like those Mumblecore movies. And if you look up most of them, the budget is like,
Jay Duplass has been to the Williams Center.
He has been to the Williams Center, dude. I freaked out. I don't get starstruck very often, but that was one that I was just like in the corner, like, you made my favorite movie. But yeah, dude, like those movies, I feel like, I don't know, you really like, if you find a good group of people, I've seen really good movies filmed on like your phone, and then like I've seen some really bad movies filmed on like a Scarlet Red. It's just like the dichotomy of both of that being like, yeah, it's just like if you have like a good group of people. And
it hurts my soul sometimes when I see people have really nice cameras, but then they don't do any color correction and it just looks really flat.
Dude,
and
I just like fall
and
into
like,
my seat like this. Yeah,
I'm just like, why did you make it look like it was shot on a phone when it was shot on this nice camera? Like,
well, it's like the easy fixes, dude. It's like people are like, you know, like, oh, like if I have this nice camera and I have this person in my movie, it's gonna be good. But then they don't look at the fact that like the script is not that great, like the story doesn't go anywhere, or like, yeah, it doesn't get color corrected, or like the sound, every sounds like that in the background. Like it's like all these little things that aren't being taken care of because people are like, oh, it's just like, you know, I just want to make the thing. If I have this person, I have this camera, I can tell people I have this thing, then I'm good.
Yeah. And I think like every 5 minutes you have to have something kind of cinematic happen.
Yeah.
Like if you want a movie, like if you have one idea, then like you got to make a really short, you know?
Yeah, man.
And if you have hundreds of ideas, that could make a feature, or that could make a TV show if you have hundreds of ideas. But like, I think too many people like are like, I have this idea, and then they decide to make a 30-minute short, and it's that one idea. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, the interesting thing is done, and now I'm still watching it.
Yeah, dude. And maybe it's because, like, my background, like, at my core, I'm a writer. Like, that's my favorite thing to do, and I will give up everything to be a writer. I am meticulous with, like, even, like, dialogue I put in scripts. Like, it's like, if your script is not where it's at, like, I can't. And it's not, I don't even mean, like, a written script. I mean just, like, if your story doesn't have characters that I feel like are rich enough for me to, like, relate to them, even if they're completely opposite of me, like, I can't. I've watched too many movies where, like, the plot is king, and it's like, I I don't know. And I'm not even like that great of a writer. I'm not saying I am, but it's like I can tell you like superimposed 2 nights before we filmed, I almost canceled it because like I was reading the script over and I was like 1 a.m, like taking notes on the script. I'm like, this dialogue is not working. And it's just, it means that much to me. So like when I see people put the effort into the text side instead of like the script side, because like the text should be supporting your script. It shouldn't be the other way around.
For sure, yeah. Like, you shouldn't even make anything unless the script is good.
Yeah.
But it is tough, too, because I feel like there's a lot of people who want to express their technical ability, and they're just like, they're not even trying to be writers. Like, they're just trying to show people that they can make a film.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of people who are directors, like young directors, I feel like they would be better served to take other people's scripts as opposed to writing their own scripts.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a lot of people who are not meant to be directors who should just be writing scripts and giving them to other people to make.
Probably me included. But
yeah, I don't know. Your film looked good. It was good composition and good editing and stuff like that. So you definitely got some director in you. But sometimes I, as a writer, like, I don't know. I go back and forth because somebody asked me last night at the Montclair Film like meetup. Mm-hmm. They were like, if you could do anything, like, what would you do? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just want to be able to do what I want. Like,
yeah,
I want to be able to tour for stand-up and do a special every once in a while. And I'd like to act a lot. And I'd like to be good enough at comedic acting and stand-up that people want me to direct films, or I could write films for people. Like, that would be my goal. But I don't know. Like, it's tough to narrow down, like, which one I would choose. If, like, money didn't matter, what would I do? And it's, like, the easy answer is to be like, yeah, I would do everything. But, like, I guess the writer's lifestyle is the best lifestyle, because you could be like, all right, I'm getting an Airbnb for 3 months in a place. That's interesting. See you later. I'm going to New Paltz and I'm just going to write a script for 3 months.
Yes.
Like, oh, I'm going to go to fucking Seattle and write a script for 3 months. Like, I feel like that is probably the best life, but I don't know.
No, I feel you though. And I know this might even be like hypocritical of what I just said.
You could be a writer and have kids.
Yeah, man. It's a very sustainable career path.
Like, if somebody wants to pay you for your script, you're like, okay, kids at school, I'm writing until they leave. Like, good, I did my work today.
And once again, it might be hypocritical to what I just said, but at the same time, I feel like I think everything I've ever done, even with our improvs or like anytime I play music, like I'm always chasing that like 6th grade thing of like, I have a flip phone with the camera and my friends and I are just like, go do this. Like we're like, I love like anytime it's just like everyone feels like they're locked in on the same idea. And that usually is what ends up showing in the final product. So I feel like I love writing and I definitely think it's the blueprint for everything. And when I say writing, I don't even just mean like dialogue, transition. Like I'm not talking like script structure. I'm talking about like if you have like good story beats with good rich characters. But I also just love like getting in a room with people and be like, quick, throw that box of cereal at my head, like just like, let's see what happens. Like, I think
the Tommy Turntoe method.
Yeah. You already know, dude. But yeah, I feel like that stuff shows on camera so nicely. And I do agree that like there are different things. Like, I mean, I know people that like their whole thing is like camera. They love working on camera. On camera.
On camera?
No, I mean,
with camera.
With camera.
I'm with child.
And with child. But like, yeah, there's totally lanes for that. And I do find those like really engaging too. But like, I feel like the best camera people also like find the story in their shot. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like there's still like story and everything. And I feel like if you can't just have an eye for like what looks good, it has to feel good too.
Yeah. And I think also knowing when the dialogue is important and knowing when the dialogue is not important as a camera person. Yeah, because like if there is no dialogue, you should be making a new film language. Like I feel like legit, like every time that I have a script that there's just physical things happening, I'm like, how can I shoot this as interesting as possible? Like that's something I liked about The Wire. I don't know if you watched The Wire.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've seen snippets. I've never watched it all the way. It's on the list.
Sometimes they would have like diegetic cameras where it was like the cameras are in the scene. Like I don't know if that's correct terminology, but just like the cameras are the actual cameras. So like the scenes where they would have like the security camera is the actual camera for the scene. I feel like those were always amazing, where they would like change the perspective. It's so high above or it's so down below.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the stuff that is underutilized in filmmaking and like could be more original. Like I feel like everything in filmmaking these days is like, all right, we're getting the over the shoulder. We're getting the over the shoulder. All right, now steady cam. All right, now we have a crane shot and a drone shot. All right, call it a day. Like it's less like, oh, all right, we're going to do a really interesting shot where there's so much stuff in the foreground and we're going to go shift through the focus where like you're going through all of the things in the foreground until you get to the thing that you want. Like
for real.
I feel like there's a lot of value in that, and that's something that can be done on a very low budget. It's like setting up a camera like on the ceiling, setting up a camera on the floor, setting up a camera on a roof, using like crappy digital zooms, like that type of stuff I think is very valuable, like the Safdie kind of method, like with very long zooms and shit.
But absolutely, dude. I think it's like regurgitating what you just said, but like it's like if you treat the camera as like a character in your script and every shot is a piece of dialogue, like what is your camera shot trying to say? I think it'll just completely elevate anything you're making, like right out the gate. But yeah, it's just I feel like, to your point, if you're using the zoom to actually show like the intensity of a moment with a character or like, you know, something in that regard versus like, oh, I just think it looks cool if like the camera's running with the guy. And I'm not dismissing that, because there are really cool shots that like the idea was just like, oh, this looks really cool. We should just try and see how this looks.
For sure.
And then you find the meaning later. But yeah, I just feel like a lot of times like the things that I don't like are the things that end up being like, oh, I feel like I don't know what they're really trying to say.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm no expert. We're trying every day.
Yeah.
I will keep trying and fail until like I can't anymore, even if I have a family. So yeah, man, it's fun. And big elephant in the room is that we're both doing improv together. So that's also like another thing of like trial and error.
We are doing improv together tomorrow night.
Let's go.
Yeah, should be fun.
Junk mail.
Junk mail improv tomorrow night. Well, not tomorrow night, whenever this comes out. This episode will probably be 2 weeks after, because we're probably in the second episode right now.
We definitely are. Yeah. No, thank you for sticking around.
No, this is great. People are into a new episode, 30 minutes into the new episode. Just to remind you guys, May 8th, I have a show coming up at Tommy Fox's in Bergenfield. That's going to be the Comics Channeling Legends show. So that's going to be a great time. I don't know what the other comics on the lineup are channeling, but I'm sure they're great. I'm doing Mitch Hedberg. You know I'm going to have some fucking sunglasses. You know I'm not cutting my hair. It's already kind of long. We're getting there. I got the poof out a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to be watching a lot of Mitch Hedberg the coming weeks to kind of re-inspire myself and recenter myself and get that going. And then May 15th, we are bringing a comedy show back to Preservation Society Vintage Shop. It's going to be called P.S. It's Funny, and it's going to be some stand-up comedians. We're going to be hanging out, drinking coffee and tea, and doing other things maybe smoking a little marijuana or something.
We're going to have a live session with Mary Jane right
there. But it's going to be a good time. You can definitely shop at the Vintage Shop. It's a great space. It's one of the weirder places in the best way possible that I do shows at. And the owner of the place is amazing. So keep those open and on your calendar, May 8th and May 15th. Back to our show.
Welcome back. Actually, if I can jump in with a
question.
Yeah,
do you have a plug? Or you have a question?
Oh, no, I have a question for you.
Cool.
Only plug is keep your eyes out for Superimpose and junk mail. But as far as the question goes, I feel like I don't really like. I have an idea of your comedy influences, but you mentioned Mitch Hedberg just now, and I'm like thinking like, I feel like that definitely makes sense for your brand of humor. But like, I didn't know if there was like a comic or like a joke or a thing that like was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a combination of influences. I would say I've told the story a few times. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast, but Netflix used to be way better than they are.
Oh, really?
They used to be way better.
Yes.
Because my parents used to get the like Netflix DVDs through the mail.
Dude.
And like you could get rare DVDs, hard to find DVDs. It was like amazing. Like you choose to get 1 or 3 DVDs at a time. So it's like literally you can pick anything in the world and you're paying like $5 a month. The only limitation is that you have to wait for the next one to be sent.
Yeah. That was a great time to be alive, dude.
Yeah. And then I think I was in middle school when they started to have streaming. And I remember going onto that because like I'd started to use the Netflix website to poison my parents' queue and like put stuff ahead of theirs to start getting films once I started to get into cinema.
Yeah.
But then they had their streaming app and I watched Zach Galifianakis's Live at the Purple Onion.
One of the best.
And that is like probably my biggest inspiration for comedy. Like I grew up like listening to Dane Cook because he was on iTunes and you could buy an 8-minute song for 99 cents. So I was like, how can I make this iTunes gift card that I bought at ShopRite last the longest? Like, dude, I will get the BK Lounge joke, or I'll get this one, or whatever.
You're unlocking so many core memories for me right now in like a 60-second blip.
100%. So I feel like Dane Cook got me into comedy, and like I was like, wow, this is cool. Like a guy is just making people laugh, and it's crazy that he's at Madison Square Garden. But then once I saw Zach Galifianakis Live at the Purple Onion, I was like, well, that's the guy I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be the guy who's at the smoky clubs, like, drinking a whiskey on his piano and, like, playing piano and telling jokes. And, like, I've never really picked up piano as much as I would have liked to. Perhaps, like, my time at Maureen's Jazz Cellar will teach me some piano, and maybe I'll eventually do something there in which I'm playing piano, or have a cellist or a stand-up bass or like a drummer or something like that. So maybe that'll be like the next evolution of my stand-up is I'll have a live band behind me, and I feel like that could be fun for a special.
I would love to help produce or even be a small part in a lounge hour from you. I think that would be the coolest shit in the world.
No, it might happen. Well, it's in the works.